Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog a day, and today is Wednesday the 3rd, and today was a beautiful day outside weather-wise, absolutely gorgeous. Nice heavy dew, so the ground has a little bit of humidity left in it, a little bit of muddy spots here and there, but the wind's blowing, it's drying out nice. Temperature-wise, really couldn't ask for much better. I mean, it was just absolutely gorgeous all day. I was out working the shop quite a bit of it and really never felt like I was hot and sweaty unless I was working pretty hard, which didn't happen too often. It was more of a technical day than a giant physical day, but it was just overall beautiful. So I went out there and ended up building myself a little rustic side table, I guess you'd call it. A little short thing. I don't know. It's probably less than 20 inches tall overall, but it's just a little deal. I had a pallet been laying around for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and it was a heavy duty, really solid, thick wood pallet. And I thought, I'm just going to build something out of that damn pallet. And I started tearing it apart, and it has a nice aged, weathered look to it. Just really had, weathered nicely. I was really excited about making something. The plan I started to make turned out the boards that I was able to save and reclaim were not going to be long enough to do the plan the way I was wanting to do it. So I just kind of gave up on that thought. Luckily, I had not started making any cuts yet. I was kind of laying it out in my head. Didn't work, and I just said, screw it. And I just started putting stuff together and cutting it out. And I didn't follow a pattern, didn't follow a plan, didn't really go with anything that I was after trying to figure this stuff out, and just let it kind of freehand wield whatever I started building. And it turned out really nice. I cut my mind up. I had some thick boards, some thin boards, wide, narrow, all kinds of different stuff, and I didn't know how I was going to do it, so I just started throwing it together, and I liked the way it turned out. I was really, really excited the way it turned out. A couple of the big, thick boards really split, like crazy long grain split in the process of tearing them apart, and it turned out to make a beautiful top on there. I was able to use those for the top, not the legs, so it worked really, really well for me, and it's got a great look. I love the look of that table. It's all put together with one pallet, except for I did use, I don't know, probably 4 foot of 1x4 that I've had laid out. I bought a bunch of old 1x4 from a guy who did it for a roof. He bought it for a roofing job that never happened, and it was weathered pretty bad, and so I bought it cheap. Still has been laying outside, standing up against my garage, letting it just kind of keep weathering, so it kind of looks like a pallet. I had a board there that I could have ripped down to use for it, but that was a good looking board I'm going to make a sign out of, and didn't want to have to waste it just to throw a furring strip around the bottom of my table. So I went ahead and just kind of cheated. So it's technically made out of one pallet, but the wood that I would have used for it, I kind of swapped out for some old 1x4. That's a milled up piece, not the rough grain, but you don't see it up underneath. It doesn't matter, but I do kind of feel like I cheated a little bit in that process. My plan was to build a table out of one pallet only, and technically I kind of blew that part. But I then went ahead, got that all wrapped up and stuff, talked to a friend of mine that stopped by. We kind of talked for a little while and stuff, just dealing with their crazy life and all that kind of thing, and had a nice little talk. And I'd already thrown the kayak up on top of the car, and I was planning on going out kayaking. Had I known my friend had nothing else going on, I would have thrown both kayaks up there and taken them out with me, but they didn't let me know that ahead of time. And I went ahead and said, heck with it, ran out. I was heading to the lake, actually. I was going to go, it's about a 45 minute drive, depending on what part of the lake I go to. And instead, last minute, as I was taking off, I had this weird gut feeling that's telling me not to go to the lake, telling me just go to the upper res here, which is technically just a little water reserve type thing they dammed up to get water for our water drinking source, which has now been shut down. The water plant, they didn't keep up on general maintenance on it and keep updates, so they decided it was cheaper to buy it from the lake than it was to renovate their own water treatment plant. So I was really glad I made that decision. I listen to my gut quite a bit. My gut tells me something's what I want to do. I listen to it. I went out there, and the great thing about going out there was I got the kayak off, I got hang ready to throw it in the water, went to grab my paddle, and realized I did not have my paddle. So had I drove all the way to the lake and had to drive all the way back to get a paddle, I definitely would not have had time to get out and go paddling around at all before dark, and that would have definitely sucked. So instead of throwing the kayak back up on top of the car and hauling it home to get a paddle, which is just, I'd say, maybe less than a 15-minute round trip, even getting it out of the garage. I should have timed myself, see how long I was gone, but I didn't. I threw the kayak off in some trees and shrubs and bushes. It was hid pretty well. It wasn't impossible to see, but the chance somebody stumbling across it, finding it, and then deciding to be a thief in that time frame is extremely rare. So I went ahead and tossed in the bushes, ran home real fast, grabbed my paddle, ran back, paddled around the upper res, made a loop, and I was heading back because nearing that time frame where I thought, well, if it gets dark, I didn't bring my headlamp out with me or nothing. I didn't want to be out there too late. And saw another couple putting their kayaks in. So I actually paddled across the reservoir to them, talked to them for a little while and stuff. It was his first day out ever paddling. And I kind of joked about how I should grab my camera in case he tips over. The woman was getting in. They got two little dogs. They have like a little towel they put on the front for them to go with them. And the process of getting in, she dumped her dog right in the water. Like, it was funny, just like a funk, and the dog acted like it didn't really care. She just picked it up by the life vest and stuck it back on top of the kayak. It was pretty funny. So we paddled around. We talked for quite a bit. I made an extra loop around the upper res, just kind of having a good time talking with them. Found out they want me to do some pictures for him, which would be really cool. He's a pilot, so we're going to go up and do some aerial photos, which would be really awesome. I can't wait to get up and get a chance to do that. I'm going to try and talk him into doing maybe all 4 seasons. Fall with the beautiful colors, winter, the snow, fall, and that, and then basically spring and summer. I think it would be really interesting to have all 4 of the pictures they're wanting of their stuff in all 4 seasons framed together. I think it would be really beautiful. So that'd be really interesting. I'm hoping that works out. Just had a great time. Really just met some new people that were really cool. He's in the process of rebuilding an old, he said maybe an old Piper, maybe? I don't know, an old plane. I can't remember which one he said exactly it was. But just, it was sounds like a fun little project. So I'm going to hopefully stop by their place sometime and get a look at that stuff too. So, got home. Actually went to Hy-Vee afterwards. Got my grocery shopping done. I need to get my 30 cents worth on $30 on Wednesday. So that worked out really well. So, that's all I've got for now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Thanks for watching.